Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, da, dai, dai. Yai, dai. Yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai.
Welcome, everybody. Cantor Andy just started with a Nagun. He's going to sing the prayer leader right after. I welcome everyone. I'm so happy to be here and to see all my friends and all the people I share my spiritual journey with. And it's been a wonderful spiritual journey, having all you people surrounding me and with me. We're so lucky to have each other. And
Amen.
this prayer that Cantor Andy's going to sing, it's hard for me not to start to get teary-eyed when I hear it, because it was written by the rabbi who really inspired my rabbinate. It's called, it comes from one of the Psalms, and it really asks God to spread over us a sukkah of shalom, a booth of peace. And that's what we really need right now. The world's such a fractured place. What better to know that we can come on Friday night, we can gather together, and there's a sukkah of shalom hovering over us that is there all the time, but we become much more aware of it on Shabbat. So I couldn't feel more blessed to have Cantor Andy bring back this wonderful memory of this rabbi who died much too young in a tragic accident, who was a very special person, and he created some very special music. So please, Cantor Andy, honor me and honor us with your beautiful voice.
I will do my best, Rabbi. Thank you. Ufros aleinu sukat shalom, shalom. Spread over us wings of peace, shalom. Draw water in joy from the living well. Draw water in joy from the living well. Ma'im chayim, waters of life, shalom. Ufros aleinu sukat shalom, shalom. Spread over us wings of peace, shalom. Draw water in joy from the living well. Draw water in joy from the living well. Ma'im chayim, waters of life, shalom. Ufros aleinu Shabbat Shalom Shalom.
Thank you so much, Cantorial.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Brings back very fond memories for me. And hopefully it will start to create fun memories for all of us.
Amen.
So, what's better than being together on Shabbat? Nothing's better than being together on Shabbat. And our next excerpt from Psalm 133, Hine Ma Tovu, is a way of expressing it.
Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov, yadadai, yadadadadadadai. Hine ma tov, yadadai, yadadadadadadai. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
How good it is. So we take a moment to light our Shabbat candles, to create the dividing line between the regular week and the special holiday that is Shabbat.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Haven't blessed them yet. There we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav Vetzivanu lehadlik ner Vetzivanu lehadlik ner Vetzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat.
Now it's our privilege and our honor to transmit the priestly blessing on all of us, just as it was done from ancient times till now. In fact, the Torah says to Aaron, God says to Aaron, this is how you should bless the people. This is how you should bless the people. So we're going to carry on the tradition that dates back to the Torah thousands of years ago, and we're going to convey the priestly blessing to everyone. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha.
May Adonai bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May Adonai make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yisem lecha shalom.
May Adonai lift up his face to you and give you peace.
We all have a wonderful Shabbat and a wonderful week.
Amen.
So we're going to continue with our Kabbalat Shabbat service with Psalm 92.
We'll do a little upbeat today. So at the start of the psalm, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
We'll take a moment now as we prepare for Lecha Dodi. It's the signature part of the Kabbalat Shabbat service. You know, our relationship with God is covenantal, which means that it's kind of a partnership. It's a partnership. But Lecha Dodi takes that level of partnership to another dimension, because it's not just a legal partnership, it's a partnership based on love. And we sing this beautiful prayer, which really recognizes our attachment to God in a more significant way, because we welcome the bride as she comes into our life, the bride which is the immanent presence of God that's there all the time, but we recognize more in Shabbat. So it's not just a legal formula or relationship with God, it's also a love-based formula, a marriage of sorts.
Lecha Dodi לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבורך, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה. בראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Verse 5. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Rise if we're able in body or spirit, or hopefully both, for verse 9 to greet the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emuneh am segula, boi chala, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We'll be seated again for a moment. In a moment, we're going to say the Baruch Hu, which is a moment of change. The Kabbalat Shabbat service, which we just completed, that's a service that's supposed to inspire us and prepare us for the process of prayer. And when we say the Baruch Hu, we're not committing ourselves to the intimate process of prayer. And it's very interesting. The first thing we do when we commit ourselves to the intimate process of prayer, to communication with something that's larger than us, we bow to acknowledge that there is something greater than us. As much as we bring into the world, there's something that is bigger than us, beyond anything we can imagine. And we humbly bow as we say this prayer to acknowledge the reality of that. So please, let's all stand if you're able, in body or spirit or both, as we say the Baruch Hu. Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Now a prayer for the evening. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and seasons glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of time and light, You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Amen.
Well, I spoke a minute ago about how our relationship with the eternal is not just a legal formula, a commitment that we make, but it's also a formula we make, a commitment we make with our hearts. And it's a loving relationship. And we start with this prayer that acknowledges God's love for us, which is eternal. And then we commit our love to God by saying the Shema and the V'ahavta. So we're going to start with Ahavat Olam, everlasting love.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, B'shokbenu u'b'kumenu, Nasiach bechukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'v'mitzvotecha, Le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla. Me'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Israel.
Praise to you, Yud-Heh Vav-Heh, who loves your people, Israel. Now we take the disparate parts of ourselves, we put them into unity, acknowledging the unity of the universe, the connection of the universe to all of us and to everything within it, as we recite the Shema and V'ahavta.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'divarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha b'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, ukshatam le'ot al yedecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'isharecha. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
And much truth. In a moment, we're going to stand for the Amidah. It's our moment of deepest connection with however we understand the eternal and the universe. We're going to say it silently, and then we'll join together with Cantor and Andy at Shalom Rav. Great peace. That's the final hope we have as we recite this prayer. So please stand if you're able, body and spirit, as we recite the Amidah.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדום לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדום לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Thank you so much, Cantor Andy.
Thank you, Rabbi.
It's such a blessing to have you lead us in prayer. It's something I take with me in the couple of weeks we don't meet. I take with me this intention, this beautiful voice you have that really invites me into special places. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, this week, we start to read the book of Vayikra. In English, it's called Leviticus, but the Hebrew name is Vayikra. You know, the teachings in this book are very mystical and deep. It's one of the more complex books of the whole Torah. In fact, in the Orthodox world, when they teach kids the Torah, they start with this book. They don't start with Genesis. They start with this book because they think it's so important, because it's so deep and meaningful. But on the surface, the book is a recounting of the little details of the sacrificial rites. Now, none of that is really relevant to us in our modern lives. But embedded in all that, they're just amazing teachings, but you have to search for them. You have to search for them. And these teachings, the deep meaning of these teachings start with the very first word in the book of Leviticus, the book of Vayikra, which is the word Vayikra. It's such an important teaching, and it's based on this one little thing. If you look at the Torah and look at the words in the Torah, and you look at the word Vayikra, the aleph at the end of the word is very small. It's a scribal abnormality. It's different than the way other words are written. The aleph is just really, really small. And of course, when there's a scribal abnormality, when there's something out of the ordinary in the Torah, the rabbis go bananas. They need to understand why the aleph is small. And it intrigues rabbis, the ancient rabbis, the modern rabbis, and even your rabbi. We try and figure out what the Torah is trying to teach us about this small aleph. Now, there's one common teaching. It's the one that's shared from medieval times. It's about the small aleph. What the teaching says is that the small aleph is a message about humility. You know, the word Vayikra means, and God called. Moshe was very uncomfortable with this idea that God called to him. You know, it made him look like he's special and God doesn't call to anyone else. So he was very uncomfortable. And the rabbi said, because he was uncomfortable, he made the letter very small, hoping that people would not see it and instead read the word not as Vayikra, but as Vayikar. Now, Vayikar in Hebrew means and happened upon. So, of course, that made Moshe much more comfortable, because rather than God calling out to him, God just happened upon him. Could have been happened upon anyone else. In fact, there's even a teaching that God and Moshe got in an argument about this word Vayikra. And Moses was saying, I don't like this whole word Vayikra. And you called, what can we do about it? I want it to be Vayikar. And the rabbi and the God and Moshe are arguing. And they said, listen, let's compromise. Let's make it small. They said, okay, good. We'll compromise. We'll make it small. We'll make it small. But I think this idea of humility is a really important, because many of us value humility. We think it's really important. But it's important to have a deep understanding of what humility is. Humility isn't just saying, I'm nothing, because if you say I'm nothing and I'm small, then God's given you gifts that you're supposed to bring to the world. And if you say you're small and you don't fully engage these gifts in the world misses something important it would get by what you have to give. Conversely, if you think that humility is about my proving that I'm better than everybody else, you take up all the space in the world. So I like to think that humility is about finding just the right space that you're supposed to occupy in the world. Not too much and not too little. So let me give you some examples about humility and how it plays out in modern day life, because unfortunately, from my point of view, our society has valued the individual more than the collective. The individual is king, and bending yourself to the idea that there are other people in the world that you have to make space for and room for, that isn't one of the prime values of our society. Let me give you an example. Now, I'm sure you all have experienced this. I hope you've all have experienced this. I know I have almost every day. I'm in my car driving on the freeway. I decide to change lanes. The first thing I do is I look and see whether the lane is unoccupied. Lo and behold, it's unoccupied. I turn my little signal on and prepare to move over, and the person behind me in that lane speeds up and takes the space so I can't get to it. That happens to me almost every day on the freeway. And you know what I do? I sigh. I sigh. It used to bother me when I first moved to Los Angeles, but now I just sigh. It wasn't that way in other places I lived in. And there are other things about this valuing the individual more than the collective. You know, when Apple created the phone, which was really a way to connect one person with another, it was really about communal connection. They didn't name it the We phone because it was really a way of making one to another, making it I to a we. They called it the iPhone because they recognized that in our society, I is more important than we. That's the saddest thing about it. You know, yeah, the individual is really important, but I think we grow stronger and wiser and more secure when we work together. When we understand that when we work together, we grow stronger. Unfortunately, we have a political leader who doesn't understand this. He thinks that if we just separate ourselves from the world and prove how strong we are, we prove that America is great. Well, I'm not sure that makes America really greater. There's something really special about leaving space for others. This is a very godlike thing to do. Let me explain why leaving space for others is a godlike thing to do. There's a vision of the creation of the world. It's based on a teaching from Rabbi Luria. Rabbi Luria said that the whole universe was filled with God's presence. And in order to make the world appear, God had to contract itself on the edges and leave a virtual space for the world to be created. This was called a process of Tzimtzum in Hebrew. And I don't think God became any less powerful or important by contracting itself to allow someone into the lane, to allow another person, another entity to be created. God was as strong, powerful, and complete as God will ever be, even after this contraction. You know, that's what I really love about Cantorial and his singing. He has the most beautiful and powerful voice I could ever imagine. He really does. Now, he could sit back and fill this whole room with his voice, and that would be wonderful. It would be a great concert. But he doesn't try and do that. He tries to invite us to join him. He doesn't take up all the space. He leaves this sense of, I'm here to guide you. I'm here to bring you along with me. I'll bring you along with me. And that's the beauty of the real talent that Cantorial has that I respect and love so much. But there's one more teaching about the small aleph I want to share with you tonight. it's really a deep mystical teaching, so of course I want to share it. I love these kinds of things. So the mystical rabbis of our tradition look at the Torah and they see that it's black letters on white parchment. Black letters on white parchment. And it's taught that no two letters can be connected. There always has to be a space between the letters in the Torah. The rabbis thought this because they thought that the spaces, the white spaces in the Torah, were very, very important. In some ways, they thought they were more important than the black letters, because these white spaces that weren't so concrete, that weren't so overt, contained esoteric and deeper meanings in the Torah that could only be discerned by looking deeper and deeper into it. So one of the things that Rav Kook, the great first rabbi of the state of Israel, said was, Moshe shrunk that first aleph in the word Vayikra because it was his way to increase the space surrounding it and to demonstrate that he had commitment to look deeper before he made this connection with God in the tent of meeting. I think we all have metaphorical black letters in our lives. They tell us what to do, what our obligations are, what we have to do for our friends, what we have to do for our family, what we have to do for our community. And those are all very important. We can't ignore the black letters. But I believe there are also white spaces in our lives. These white spaces are reaching out to us and letting us know just not what we need to do, but what we're called to do. Not just what we need to do, but what we're called to do. By that I mean what our deep intuition tells us, what our deepest, brilliant mind and soul have to offer to tell us what to do with our lives. That's why Shabbat's such a special time, because it's a time where you put all the black letters aside. You leave time. You don't work, you don't do this, you don't do that, and it opens up some white space in your life where you can take some time to think about what your life's about, what's the big picture here, and what you need to do. You know, Bhavani, Bill and I, every Shabbat, before we light the candles, we take a moment and we share with each other what our intention is for the week. It doesn't have to be some great thing like we're gonna go to Washington and we're gonna march outside the White House. It can sometimes be something small, like I need more rest. I need more rest. But whatever it is, it comes from taking some time to really think about what's going on in our lives. So this week, remember the small aleph. Make space in your life to find these deeper places and make space for others. And get into the habit of Shabbat and maybe other times of taking some quiet time to just see what's going on in your life. Don't just let everything rush by you, swept away by events. It's important to take some time to look for the deeper wisdom that I all think we have. And of course, when someone's trying to change lanes, give them space. Do not speed up and take all the space that they need. Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi. Beautiful.
Okay. Now we get to the part of our service that being a healer, being a former physician, I think is quite important, our prayer for healing. And we're going to give people an opportunity to raise their hand and tell us someone they'd like to remember for healing this week. You have to unmute yourself when you do this. Claudia, do you have someone?
Andrea White.
Andrea White. Anyone else? Karen.
Andy Hyman, Rachel Furman, Suzanne Joyce, Julian Smith. That'll do.
Thank you. Ellen, did you have your hand up? No? Okay, good. Anyone else? Bell.
Barry Spiro, Rich Archer, Fred Hess, Ruthie Markison, Lissa Fountain, and Caroline Coutil, Betsy Bomber.
Anyone else? Okay, please join Cantorial as we sing the Debbie Friedman Mishaberach prayer.
Your screen right now, and as always, I'm thinking of my mom, Ellen, and my little sister, Anna. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Holy One of blessing, loving energy of the universe, please bring healing rapidly and smoothly to all those we've mentioned. May they have healing of body and spirit. May there also be healing for all those who are suffering in different parts of the world due to famine, conflict. May they bring healing to the hostages, both those who've been liberated and have suffered the trauma of their hostage situation and those who are still in captivity. And may the world come to a place of comfort and healing. And may all those we didn't mention in this room that need healing, may they all appreciate the bounty of God's endless blessing to bring them to wholeness.
Amen.
You know, the whole point of the prayer service is not just to make you feel connected to each other and to something bigger than you are, but it's to inspire you. It's to inspire you to do the work to make the world a better place, to heal the world. And this prayer, Aleinu, is our prayer of commitment, that we'd like to make God one, which means we'd like to bring unity into the universe, and make God's name one, which means to make it obvious that we're all together and we're all here to work together. Aleinu.
Please rise if you are able. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Now our time to bring to acute memory, though we always remember them, those who are no longer with us in the same way, who are in a different dimension. The Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Does anyone have somebody who they're memorializing today or they'd like to remember today? Karen.
I was just visiting family in Detroit, where I grew up, born and raised, and I am thinking, as I have been since I was there and since I've returned, of all my aunts and uncles and my parents, all now gone, and visiting with cousins. And we cousins are not so young anymore, and some are ill. And it was so special and moving to me to see, to have a perspective. I've been gone for 55 years from Detroit. I hardly recognize where I'm going. It's all new to me. This is home now. But my family, everybody I knew, grew up with, has been on my mind, and I want to remember them.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I see Danny.
Oh, Danny. Danny.
My father, Abraham.
Your father, Abraham. Cantorial.
I'm continuing to remember my father, Steve Henry, in the first year of his passing, and our dear, dear friend, Carol Huey. From YouTube, Charlotte is remembering her beloved husband, Jerry, her sweet Audrey, and loving son, Michael. And two people not directly related, but I went to the Levaya earlier today of the father of a dear friend, so we remember on their behalf Ronald Carlish, and a marvelous lady who I actually saw last Shabbat in San Francisco, Ellen Isaac, who didn't quite make it to 102, but she was at Shabbat last week smiling and singing along, and she passed quietly in her sleep.
Beautiful.
A couple days ago.
Thank you. So please, those who are in mourning, please stand. If you'd like to stand and say the Mourner's Kaddish for those who don't have Kaddish to say, who don't have anyone to say Kaddish for them, please stand as well. Repeat after me. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba. Yama divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chaychon v'yomechon v'chaye dekol Beit Yisrael. Ba'gala u'vizman kariv yimru. Amen. Yehesh me Rabba mevorach li'olam me'omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'or v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal shemei dekudasha b'richu leila min kol birchata v'shirata pushbechata v'nechemata b'amiran b'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehesh shlomo Rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael imru. Amen. So before we complete our service with our final prayer, Karen, do you have any formal announcements you'd like to make for us? You're muted. You're muted.
Okay. Yes, the only thing I really have to say is our next service, which is on Saturday in 2 weeks, 2 weeks plus a day. I'm just looking for the date. Oh dear.
April 19th.
April the
19th.
19th. April 19th. That will be in person at the Unitarian church, where we've been in residence for, I don't know, about 60 years, let's say, give or take. It's a very special place to us, and it is an inviting place, I think, to us. And I hope you will all come. It's very nice on Saturday mornings.
It's
Really.
a church filled with Yiddishkeit. I think our tentative plan for that day, instead of doing our traditional Torah study, it's the last day of Passover, and we're going to do a community Seder. It hasn't been settled yet as to whether we're going to serve lunch, but we will have all of the traditional ritual foods, matzah, charoset, parsley, eggs, and we'll have all the ritual foods. We'll do all the rituals that are associated with Hakara and actually have I hope, a very robust discussion of what freedom means to all of us. I'll send out some questions before our meeting for us to ponder before you meet, and then offer some answers for all of us, to teach all of us before when we discuss things at the Seder. And it should be a very special time. It should be a very special time. The ritual that's celebrated more in the Jewish world than any other ritual is the Seder, by far. And we're going to be joining all the rest of the Jewish world doing it. And by the way, there's going to be some wonderful music too. It's not just going to be words. There's going to be some wonderful music. And guess who's going to be leading us with it? Cantorial. So I'm really excited. I'm going to do some thinking and some preparation, and I really hope everybody will join us.
Not wanting to give away all of the song choices, but it is entirely possible there will be a Passover spoof of Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, also known as Super Kosher Manischewitz, Exodus, and Moses. So do show up.
Beautiful. Yeah, we're going to have, it'll be deep, hopefully, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Amen.
It'll be fun. So we're going to finish our wonderful time together with, before our social time together, with the same way we started, because it just seems like everything that's being thrust upon us is a way to create chaos. I don't know what. I don't know what the whole purpose of it is. I kind of thought this was a great country. It's always been a great country, and it didn't need to be taken apart to make it great again. It just needed to be cuddled and held instead of being broken. And so we're going to sing this Sukkah Shalom, and hopefully that energy that we bring with our prayer, go out there. Who knows, and bring some peace to the world, and maybe even bring some peace to someone who seems to want to disrupt the whole world.
I don't expect that everyone remembers the melody from the beginning of the service, but if you do, please sing along. If you don't, you can hum along, close your eyes, but just enjoy the beautiful melody that this rabbi wrote. Ufros aleinu Sukkot Shalom Shalom, spread over us wings of peace. Shalom. Draw water in joy from the living well. Draw water in joy from the living well. Ma'im chayim, waters of life. Shalom. Ufros aleinu Sukat Shalom. Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and making this room filled with your lovely voices, your open hearts, and your fertile minds. And may we take this community and bring it out into the world and know that it's bringing special things to the world and special things to all those we meet. Shabbat Shalom.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom, and
Good.
Shabbat Shalom to our friends on YouTube. We will wish them a good evening, and then we'll stay in kibbutz.
Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi and Cantor. I should have said this earlier. I think I'm a little tired. I'm still feeling jet lagged.
Yeah.